Hello, my name is Ivan, and today I'd like to present a tool called ShrewdEye for low-hanging async and vulnerability scanning. So, let's begin. I am working as application security trainer, do some security researches, participate in bug bounty programs, DFs, and so on and so forth. Also, if you want to reach me in the different social networks, you can find the contacts on the slide. During my bug bounty journey, I was thinking about how can I automate the vulnerability search process. Just imagine, you have some scope, and let the scope be some sort of the network tree. So, what can we do to fast and easily grab an apple from this network tree? First of all, you can take some ground apple, try to pick up low-hanging fruits if you are tall enough, and check the tree. Will you get all the apples? No, but you will definitely get enough to eat. And here comes the idea. Why not to create own tool that will bring me the apples from the network tree forest? The main goal of such tool to identify easily exploitable assets and targets. It will definitely not find everything, but on another hand, at least I will know that if something can be hacked just in 5 minutes, we'll get easily exploitable assets, and that's the most important for me, we'll get some points of interest, for example, some strange ports that are opened. So why not to chain well-known open source tools in some automated vulnerability search process? The main goal was to create a tool that will do only the simple automation of some processes, and it will not be some yet another vulnerability scanner that will be better than everything else. The process of scanning contains the next steps. First of all, we have some scope to scan. After the scanning, we will have some hosts, and each host should be scanned to reveal some hidden services. After that, each services can have this or that vulnerability. The tool has 3 main entities: scope, resource, and services. For example, scope can have different scope entries. Scope entry can have different resources, and each resources can have different services. On each of the scanning step, resource, services, or any other entities appears. For example, you have domain google.com, and the nmap tool is launched. So the nmap produces services entity for the resource google.com. Here you can see the dashboard of the tool. In this dashboard, you can see different entries, resources, screenshots, and tasks that were launched. So everything in one place. The main goal of the interface was to provide the most valuable information that can be easily accessed. And in general, only 3 clicks required to access all the functionality of the application. The main features were, first of all, configurable workflows that allows you to create your own workflow for different purposes. Scheduled scans for continuous monitoring of new resources that appears on a daily basis. And content search to find strings in page content, headers, titles, services, and other sources. Another goal was to make this tool as easy as possible. So this tool should be easy to install, easy to extend, of course, easy to be used, and the last but not least, be scalable. You can use this tool not only on the single host, but create your own scalable environment with multiple hosts that will continuously scan multiple targets. You can even use Raspberry Pi or Droid or any other micro PC to host the scanner. I tried to automate the usage of the tools that you can see on the screenshot. They are all well known, and also I wrote my own screenshot tool to grab the screenshots from the services. What are the main advantages of configurable workflows? You can create your own workflow like it's shown on the slide. For example, when new domain appears, a mass, some finder, and asset finder are launched, and the result are merged all together between all of these three tools and are set to the next resource step. All tools produces different entities in the system. For example, a mass, subfinder, asset finder, they produces resource entities that can be scanned with another tool. You can create your own workflows for scanning, searching, finding vulnerabilities in this or that resource. To use one workflow to fast resource scan and another workflow to more deeply scan, that will take much more time. You can create your own scheduled scans or monitor scan that will be run on daily or weekly or monthly basis. You can choose for scheduled scan their own workflows. With such functionality, you can easily find resources that contains, for example, admin string in their page content, title, service version, or any other part of the resource. Quite useful functionality if you know what to search and want to easily identify some targets. And of course, this tool should be really easy to install, use, deploy, and scale. You can install the scanner by your own or use built-in Docker image. You can even install the scanner on different hosts and use this host with one central database to scale the environment. And there is no rocket science or some hidden functionality or know-how features. You can launch different well-known open source tools in different order to get the results. I also prepared an online version of the scanner that has limited functionality and only one workflow, but you still will get the results from different scanners and the screenshots for this or that service. Or you can host your own scanner that you can find by this link. But in this case, you will get the whole functionality and can unleash the power of the different workflows. The scanner and tool are both absolutely free and open source. So, my presentation is over, and it means that it's time for the real showcase. Now, let me present how the app works on practice. So, here is the app. You can see that there is already one project that I already created. In the dashboard, you can find all necessary information. So, vulnerabilities, number of entries, number of found resources, screenshot, and services. You can also launch different workflows from the dashboard. Let's create new project. I click new project. Let it be in blackhat.com. I copy the domain in the domain list. Right now, the application supports only the domains to scan. Also, we should choose the default workflow for the project. Right now, I will choose default scan, for example. And we need to click button Create. So here we can see our newly created project. And by the way, at the end of the list we can see the number of entries with their statistics. We can change the default workflow to another one. The default workflow will be used to all newly created resources and entries and services in the project. Now we can see our newly created project and the number of tasks that are launched. Here we can see what jobs are running right now. So we have AMAS, SubFinder, and Asset Finder that's in queue right now. Oh, look at that. When we go back, some of the tasks were already completed. We can click on this link again, and we see that there is some newly resources appeared and some tasks that were already done. Nice. Now, while our project is scanning, let's take a look at the templates. Here, in the templates, you can find the list of the default templates. You can create your own template. But before that, let's take a look at the default scan template. In the default scan, we can see that there are 3 main steps. So, the main idea that each scanner produces some object as a result. Like AMAS, SubFinder, and Asset Finder, they produce resources that will be passed to the resource step. During the resource step, Nmap scanner is launched with some parameters, and the Nmap produces different services that can be scanned with other tools. In the default scan, what actually is happening? So we scan some domain with AMAS, SubFinder, and Asset Finder to find all subdomains. After that, we scan all the subdomains with Nmap scanner, and after that, for each services, we try to grab the screenshot of that service. We can modify any template the way we want. Also, let's try to create our own template. For example, we type the name, click Add. For example, we want to launch only Asset Finder and SubFinder. We can map all the resources. I think this will be enough, and click Submit button. Now we have created our own template that can be used. If we're going back to the dashboard, we can see that we were able to find about 86 of different resources. Yeah, and still we have 87 tasks to do. Okay, let's wait for some time. And now we can also take a look at the monitor section. In the monitor, you can specify which workflows will be launched in different periods of time. For example, we can select our BlackHat project, we can select frequency. For example, the workflow will be launched once per month. We can select our newly created workflow, BlackHat. So, each month the BlackHat workflow will be launched against BlackHat project. For example, it's really useful if you want just to find some new resources. So you can select weekly and select discovery only fast. In the scanners section, you can create your own scanners or modify existing one, for example, if you want to add additional parameters. So, in types, you can see the base scanners that exist in the system. And in the list of the scanners, you can see all installed scanners. So, right now you can see that I have a lot of different scanners with different parameters. For example, I have a map scanner with arguments that will scan the ports 80 and 443, and map all that will scan all the ports, different nuclei configuration, and so on. So we can create and modify each of them. let's take a look at the resources that were found. Here we can see the list of the resources, and some of them were already scanned, and we found some open ports on these resources. There are pretty many of them. We can click on each resource to get complete information about it. On the resource page, you will be able to find screenshots and ports for each resource. Okay, while the resource is scanning, let's take a look at other projects that were already scanned. So if we click on the resources here, we can see that there is some screenshots that were made for each of the subdomains. We can also type any string we want to search against all the resources that were scanned. For example, let's try to find any resource that contains the string admin. Take a look. So here is the list of the resources that contains the word admin, either in the source page, or maybe the admin were found in the service name or in the title. And yeah, as you can see here, oh yeah, look at that. If we take a look at the screenshot, we can see that there is the default name admin. I think that actually these strings were found in the page source. So I think that we can navigate this page and see what's actually the administration panel it is. We can create our own workflows for different situations, scan resource and get the information that will be quite interesting during penetration test or bug bounty hunting. You can use this tool to organize continuously scanning of the perimeter for monitoring of newly created assets and vulnerabilities. You can also launch standalone tools like AMAS, Finder, Asset Finder, and get the instant result. For example, if we want to scan host for particular vulnerabilities, we won't create the template or use the pre-built one that will launch dir search on Nuclei against the target. For example, we can select Nuclei workflow and click Launch button. And here you can see the number of the tasks that will be launched against the bigpass.com project. So, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the presentation and will find the scanner quite useful. Also, you can find the source code of the scanner on the GitHub repository. Again, thank you. Bye.